Okay, so, apparently we're safe again. I mean, at least that was the official statement, from City Hall this morning. Which is interesting because currently my apartment only has 3 of the 4 walls, so, and somebody's cape is still smoking outside Sales Deli. So, definitions may vary. Uh, anyway, for anyone new here, which statistically speaking either means that you've just moved into the neighborhood or your previous podcast host was somehow vaporized during the last energy event that we had, maybe. This is Ground Level Radio, and I am your host, Firefly and the Worm, broadcasting from beautifully, illegally downtown East Mercer. I mean, beautifully meaning only partially on fire. And look, before anybody, emails me about anti-hero propaganda, I mean, these accusations again, let's just start by clarifying that I like heroes. I do. Big fan. Huge supporter of not dying horribly. Okay? I'm just simply asking that I personally believe that, reasonable civic questions like, why does every super villain attack somehow happen within 6 blocks of my building? I mean, why does the city keep rebuilding the financial district, first every time? And why is there apparently an unlimited budget for a giant memorial statues, but, not for like repairing the subway stairs that smell like wet raccoons in despair? Again, these are just questions. Last night's battle, officially lasted a whole 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Yeah. I mean, that's all it took. For half the neighborhood to lose power, for 3 buildings to collapse, for an elevated train to somehow become vertical, and for Mr. Alvarez's pitching coupe to somehow achieve low Earth orbit. Yeah. We'll miss those little brave idiots. I mean, the news is calling it a decisive, victory for the Sentinel. I mean, of course. Which, sure, I mean, if your definition for victory includes a city bus embedded sideways into a dentist office. Yeah. All right. Now listen. I know that Sentinel saves lives. I know. I mean, everybody says that like it's the end of a conversation, right? Could have been worse. I mean, that's the slogan of the city now, right? Not stronger together, not hope survives. But it could have been worse, right? Power out for 4 days. Could have been worse. Insurance refusing to cover your gravitational anomalies. Could have been worse. Well, apparently that specific thing could not have been worse because they seem very confident about it. Yeah. The weird part is that nobody reacts anymore. I mean, that's the part that just really gets me. I mean, this morning I walked a woman just casually step over a glowing hunk of alien metal, while carrying her iced coffee like she was late to work. I mean, nobody screamed, nobody panicked. I mean, a guy literally used a destroyed police drone to, prop open his food truck window. I mean, I feel like the city has broken everybody's brain. I mean, or maybe this is just what adaptation looks like. Anyway. Today's episode is sponsored by Ray Tech Restoration Services, rebuilding your life before the next attack. That ad seems confidently aggressive. Also sponsoring today's show is Marty's Temporary Housing Solutions. Marty's slogan, if your ceiling collapsed, our prices won't. I think legally they had to stop saying the second half of that. Okay, quick neighborhood updates before we get into today's topic. The laundromat on 8th is gone again. The pharmacy somehow reopened. Nobody knows how. And Sal from the deli would like everyone to know that giant scorch mark out on the sidewalk, yeah, it's not a health code violation because, it's technically outside the building. Now, a lot of the listeners have been asking, why I keep talking about these collateral zones, like they're intentional. That's a great question. Actually, it's not. It's a terrible question because some of you clearly have the observation skills of a decorative houseplant. But we're going to talk about it anyway. Because here's the thing that nobody on the news wants to say out loud, okay? Heroes don't live here. Okay, just think about that. Oh, no, I mean like really think about it. All right? The people who throw cars through buildings, they're not from this neighborhood. All right? The billionaires that are funding those hero teams, they're definitely not from the neighborhood. The people appearing on television talking about sacrifice and resilience, also not from the neighborhood. All right, but the people, digging bodies out of apartment buildings at 3 o'clock in the morning, yeah, those people live here. The cleanup crews live here. The ambulance drivers live here. The night shift workers live here. The people who can't afford to leave live here. And after every battle, after every, dramatic speech, after every glowing sky beam and every slow motion rescue montage, we are the ones that are still standing in the line of those insurance offices arguing whether, dimensional fractures count as flood damage. The funny thing is, my brother, he used to believe all that stuff. The hero stuff, the speeches, the symbols, the whole, shining city on the hill routine. Back when he still wore a mask. Before they, buried him under a statue that nobody in his neighborhood asked for. Anyway, we'll get to that later. Probably. Depends on how much legal pressure I receive this week. Okay, after the break, why the city temporary emergency shelters somehow have a higher budget than the public schools, and why I think somebody's lying about the number of casualties from last night. Again, can we play the sponsor's music? It's not loading. All right, Ray Tech Restoration Services, because emotional recovery isn't covered by insurance. Thank you, Ray Tech. All right, welcome back, survivors. You're listening to Firefly and the Worm at Ground Level Radio, broadcasting here from wonderful East Mercer, where the rent is too high and the infrastructure is held together by optimism. And somebody in a cape exploded in a parking garage again. Tonight we're going to ask an important question. If heroes can stop meteors, then why is the city still charging us for pothole damage? Tonight there was another victory, another evacuation zone, and somehow the mayor still wants to build luxury apartments on top of the dimensional crater.